Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Athlete Culture. We've got a special guest today, Sanchez Payne. Jeez. And I'm your host, John Bull.
I'm your host, Hannah McKendy. We're in the studio today. We've got Mr Leeds himself.
Come on.
Sanchez Payne. Sanchez, how are you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. Thank you guys so much for having me, man. This is amazing. Definitely. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we've known each other for 10 plus years going back. And when we started the podcast, you hit me up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I said, funny if I was speaking to Deshelle about trying to get you on, you know what I mean? And it's weird because then you hit me up. So then the stars kind of aligned. And obviously with what we're trying to do with the podcast and what we're trying to achieve going forward, you're definitely someone that we was planning and we wanted to speak to. So obviously I'm glad we could get you in early.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Because literally I've seen it, and obviously, like you said, I've known you for time. So anytime I see anyone I know doing positive things, I'm like, yo, I'm either supporting it or is it anything I can do on my end?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Definitely.
And then that's so mad that you had me in consideration, man. I love how things come together.
Exactly, bro. So today, obviously, we're going to speak about your story. Obviously, you're an interesting character, to say the least. You're involved in everything these days.
Fingers in pies.
Obviously, how we know each other, it goes back, I'd say maybe 2009, 10 years.
I won't even know dates.
Back in the days, I remember I think I was like 14, 15. Football is what we're here for. I remember the first. This is how I met you. Funny enough, first time I met Sanchez. So I was. This is how sick it was. Yeah. So this is how I met Sanchez. So obviously these times I was at Liverpool. So I was under 15s at the time, but we used to play up for the under 16s. So I played up one time and was playing against Leeds. And then some of our under 16s played up for the youth team. So like, it was half our under 15s team and we played up. And obviously your cousin Andre was at Liverpool with us at the time, so he was playing up as well. And then we played Leeds. And to cut a long story short, we got battered. We got slapped 5-0.
Yeah, that was Sanchez's
He scored
fault.
2, set up 2 in midfield. I was like, who's this guy? And after we finished the game, because he just ran rings around us. And then Andre came over after, and obviously me and Andre were boys. So them not started speaking. I'm like, oh, do you know each other? Like, yeah, we're cousins. I was like, oh shit. And then from then on, we just started linked up, started speaking, and then 10 years later, we're still.
You're so mad about that. I laugh about that all the time with me and Jay, because that's the whole family came to watch.
Literally.
Yeah. So there was pure wisdom, and pure people inside.
And the funniest thing, we was getting slapped 5-0, and I remember all your boys were on the touchline. He was doing Zidane turns, Maradona turns in the centre circle. Bro,
do you know what? It's like when you say when your gal comes to watch it.
Yeah. That was it.
Got to go him. Literally, I remember Dre cussing. I remember, funny, man.
Literally ran rings on, and then all your boys in the corner was like, jeez, we're getting battered, and I was fuming.
I think that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah,
getting
literally.
the cheese shout. You know when you get
when the man there
you got that. Oh my god, you got that one player who's just running rings, and you could just hear cheese. I'm the guy who will just 2 foot. Go straight through.
People tried it, but they couldn't get near him.
But then again, you go in for a slide tackle, you won't even touch him.
Just literally, that was it.
You and you're like, just get me on the bus and get me home.
Oh, good times.
From back then, you know what I mean? So obviously on this podcast, we like to start from the beginning sort of thing. So in your own words, how did it not even start playing football? Where are you from? How you grew up? And then just take us through your story from there, bro.
So I'm from Leeds, Chapeltown, and I started playing football. I had a lot of energy, and that's one thing that's not changed from my entire life. And I used to be the entertainer of the family, whether it dancing, up, football, whatever it was. And between my mum, dad, and my uncle, actually, they wanted to try to guide that into something. They didn't really know what yet.
Yeah.
And my uncle liked his football, my dad liked football, so I just went for my local team. And it's so funny, even up until Leeds United, football was always just fun. I used to just love it. So I remember playing the first few games, and then before I knew it, I made some friends, and then before I knew it, I got moved up. But when you're young, you don't know. He's like, oh, Sanchez is playing with them. I'm like, cool, yes, we're just kicking ball. And it slowly progressed to the point where I was playing a few years up now. And as I was playing up, there was a guy that was like, you should go for your county team.
Right.
We're from the ends. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I'm like, I barely know this team. This is the road. So then we went on trial, and me, Andre, a couple of man them got in for Leeds City Boys. Now again,
Decent.
this is when it got a bit more real because it's your county. You feel a bit more okay. We're representing something here. But even then, it was just having fun. Like I said, me and Dre and the man them just kicking ball.
Yeah.
And then we smashed 4 cups, 2 leagues.
Wow.
And then that season is where loads of players got scouted. I went to Leeds Shadow Squad, me and Andre again. And again, it was just Friday football.
Yeah.
Friday football, going up there. Yes, that fell apart now. So it's like, okay, these are nice pitches. There's a long way from Chapeltown.
Yeah.
But it was just kicking a ball. And then we used to love it. We used to rip it up and just be whatever. And then randomly got a letter through the post one time. I was talking about this the other day. Saying, hi, it's Sanchez Payne. We'd like to welcome you to the academy.
Wow.
I remember reading it and I was like, have they seen me play?
Yeah.
Obviously not knowing I'm playing at 4 parts and they've got scouts. That's what it's all for. But I was giving it to my mum. I was like, I don't know what this means, but I'm going somewhere. And then I remember my dad took me in the back garden and trained. Took me out on the park. Because he know like Dynasty serious. But I'm still like,
huge deal.
I'm just gonna go kick ball.
How old was you at this age?
So that was Leeds City Boys was 11. And then when I went for trial to the academy, this is when it kind of proper hit me. I went and played with these lot. Let me get back to that. The sickest time when I realised that I might be actually all right at football is me and Andre, we played for the Shadow Squad against the academy.
Right.
And we felt the energy, like all the parents were like, oh, this is a big deal, everyone.
Okay.
And my dad came to watch and my family came to watch. And the first game, was for City Boys against the Shadow Squad. And Andre played on one pitch and I played on another pitch. We must have won like 5-2 and they won 5-0 because Andre was in defence. So I scored the goals on that one. And then we got invited to the Shadow Squad to play against the academy.
Right.
And in that game, me and Andre played on the same pitch. And all I remember is the first minute of those players, you could see the next level.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
When you hear the word academy, this is what it means.
Yeah.
But then after that first minute, I was like, I'm home.
Yeah.
This is me. And I remember I just got it and I said, I'm going to just do these lot in. And I was twisting man up, steps. And the first step up, if the first step over didn't happen, we probably wouldn't be here today. But the first one sent him that way. And I was like, oh, okay.
Let's
and then
go.
it just went mad. And then that's when I got the letter not far after that. And then I got into Leeds United at age 12. Then age 13, I got offered a scholarship. Age 14, I played with the under 18s against Newcastle, against Bolton.
Yeah.
With some mad players, Fabian Delph, Danny Rose, Tom Elliott, Tom Taiwo, Michael Woods, Ollie Hotchkiss.
Big players.
Some big players, man. Tom Lees, Josh Falkingham doing well at Harrogate. And then 15, I got offered a professional contract. I got offered a 3-year pro at 15. And all these times, again, I didn't have an agent. I didn't really know what nothing meant. I went from Ireland, the Galway Cup. I won player of the tournament. We came second. I think Ipswich won it that year. And that's where Liam Moore was at Reading. He was playing. They had a good team there. Harry was playing up top. Then came straight from there, went home for a few hours, and then I went to England trials. I was there with loads of big players: Nathaniel Chalobah, Ross Barkley, Benica Forby, Ravel Morrison, Tom Ford, loads more. And then everything was kind of going in the right direction. Buzzing, loving it. And then as soon as I signed my deal, manager changed and the whole thing the whole dynamic switched.
So just that alone, from you signing to 15 in that 3-year period, you've done what people, except for example, usually a player signs a pro at 17, 18.
Yeah.
You've been able to manage this at 15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did at any time in that time period, did it ever hit you like, raw, like, I'm not just good at football, but I'm like really good, like I'm at the next level sort of thing? Was there any point where you took time to take it all in, if that makes sense?
No. Do you know what the funny thing is, and I always say this, and people like, really, it only hit me when things started to go wrong. Because before that, it was a natural progression. Things just got better and better, and I kept working hard, and I was good, and I became captain. I was a leader. I was one of the best players there. I was doing well, so I thought, that's how it should be. But no one around me. So, for example, Aaron Lennon and Michael Richards were my probably closest olders that were making it professional.
Right.
I didn't really know anyone else other than that from the area. There's like Brian Dean and a few others from Leeds.
Right.
So there was no blueprint. So as I'm going through it, I didn't really know what to expect. To me, I'm playing and okay, England, I'm all right, this is sick, but you know what it is.
Yeah.
And then only when I started to get less opportunities, I was like, this is where when the progression stopped,
Right.
and I felt it was no fault of my own. I was like, right. At one point, I was doing really well. I'm flying. Like, when I realized like they don't offer 3-year pros out to these players and scholarships at 13 that doesn't start till 16. Your pro doesn't start until you're 17, 18 or whatever. And I'm getting it, and then that's when it made me realize that it's no longer just fun. Like, this is a business. This is a industry. This is an infrastructure.
Right.
There's politics, and this is where politics kicked in. And that's when I was like, this game that I enjoyed just kicking a ball and doing well and everything. And then the politics kicked in, and that's when it was like, I've actually done really well so far, and now I'm being stopped. Kind of, I'm being hindered.
Right. And is that because you mentioned a manager change? Is that because that relationship you had with the previous manager change, and did a new manager come in and just give you a clean slate? What did he?
So I can never actually put my finger on it, and I'll never know what the scenario was. But it was at the point where agents came in. I opted for an agent. Agents were put forward to me that I declined, and I went with a person for a certain reason. And then manager change, and then the infrastructure of Leeds United. There were certain people that, as you know, there's technical directors, there's people involved. That at one point are your biggest fan, and then all of a sudden anything can happen. And I felt the transition. The new manager came in, and as I got older, I've kind of understood it. I still don't necessarily agree with it, but he brought in a lot of older players.
Okay.
Way over 30s, 34s, 35s in my position. And I even remember, and this is how mad it was, I used to think to myself, could I have done more? And I remember we had a session and we had to play with the first team. And I was in centre mid. And I remember the 2 assistant managers like proper buzzing over me. I always felt like the manager, I don't know, I just couldn't read him. And I remember getting the ball from the centre back, running past like 4 players and putting it top bins against Neil Sullivan. And there was like Adam Clayton in midfield, Johnny Howson, Bradley Johnson, and there's a few others. So some were on my team, some were on the other team. And I remember doing that. Like that was my first. I came on and I got it, and that was the first thing I did. And I was like, come on, man, this is me. And I remember looking over, and there was just no response. And I'm thinking, if I'm seeing 17 hours doing this, I'd be thinking, okay, we've got something here. And then before you know it, other players came in, and then down the pecking order, then no progression, and then it felt like there was just something over me. Because then I'm seeing other players getting moved up. I'm seeing a player come in and be put ahead, and I'm like, I could have been elsewhere. I had other offers and stuff, but this is Leeds United where I wanted to be. And I just felt I was probably a bit naive. I held on probably a little bit too long to the notion of playing for my home city. And really, after I got some of the treatment, I should have left. But again, I didn't have the blueprint. I didn't have anyone to help like that.
Was there any like communication between the managers and you?
I was just gonna say.
Because for me, I remember when I went on loan, the manager just kept telling me, just wait for your turn, wait for your turn, wait for your turn, but the turn never came. Was there anything like that for you? Did they tell you like, wait for your opportunity, or you're doing well, or you could do this better, or whatever? Was there anything like that? Or?
Yeah, and we're going to get real. We're representing athlete culture here, so we're going to get to the nitty gritty, and this is what it's about. It wasn't the manager. Me and him never really had communication. There was another role at the club who at one point we seemed to get on. And then out of nowhere, again, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, the conversation with me being sat in a room and him saying, you should choose another line of work.
What? Another line of work?
And I said, what?
That doesn't make sense.
And then he was like, you're very intelligent. I know you're good at education. Have you ever thought of university? So I'm like, what's happening? What are you talking about? I'm not long hot off England trials, and I'm running rings around it. Like, wait, what's happening? And then he said, long story short, it's like, as long as I'm here, you're not going to play for Leeds United.
You're joking.
So you need to look at other options. And I was like, I've just come off a training field as one of the best players. Like, I'm in And even then, I still wasn't getting a lot of game time. But I know myself, like, four patch was me. Like, I was the guy.
Yeah.
And everyone knew that. And everything except for that scenario, the players were amazing. We had such talented players above and below. The coaches were great. Like, my whole experience until it got real.
Yeah.
And then, and I remember that hitting me like, you've not even said that I'm a bad player.
Yeah.
Like, you've not even said that you don't fit in.
What was his explanation? Did he give an explanation? Did he even tell you why that's sort of come to his thought process? Have they got an agenda?
So the person, and I don't even really want to name the name, but the person is known for this kind of, not necessarily ego, but this dictatorship type, old school ruling with an iron fist. What I say goes.
Right.
And if that iron fist is on your side, it could be a very strong, powerful weapon for progression.
Yeah.
If it's not, it could be very detrimental.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the scenario what happened. And then once that person had a say,
Right.
you have to remember, academies are a conveyor belt. Like, you know, I didn't feel like anyone really fought my corner.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of deteriorated from there until I actually got my second chance. So I had an agent, and my agent at the time, I said I wanted to leave.
Right.
So I felt I've stayed there too long anyway. But after that, I said, I am gone.
Yeah.
I don't care about money. I've still got this massive long contract. I want out. I don't care if they pay me 10 pence or whatever. And then the offer they gave me, it was like a percentage of what was left of my contract.
Right.
I said, take it. Let's go.
Yeah.
But then my agent was like, no, because it's difficult out there. You don't know when you'll find another club.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be hard. You know, you might have to go back. I said, I don't care. I'll work, I'll do whatever. But he was like, no, you know, let me do my job. Let's do this. And I'll find you somewhere. You'll have Leeds on your back. You'll stay training. So again, with no blueprint, in hindsight, I would have left.
Yeah,
And I should have. And I'd gone to a lower league club and I would have played my way through and I'd have still been playing. But I stayed and I did not play a game minimum a whole season. I remember a whole season went by easily. And then it got so bad, and this is how it's no cap. It got, after that, like a season went by, back in, whatever, pre-season, feeling good, and then no again. It was one pre-season when Neil Warnock came in, and I was training. There was an under-18s match, which I was now under-18s, versus under-16s.
Right.
And I was in none of them. It was not like I was playing for my own under-18s. I said, right, Sanchez, you'll be involved, but you know, you with the 16s, you'll play against us.
Right. Okay.
I was training. So if you remember in academies, you used to come in when you was in school for like a day.
Yeah.
So I was training with like 3 15-year-olds,
Flipping hell.
2 trialists, and then like just like and just another guy. So but this is my attitude. I'm still like, yo, no one can break me. So we're doing a session. I'm doing like rondos and stuff. But I'm here and I'm looking over there and I'm seeing a match going on.
Right.
I'm training with like I can't fathom it. I'm a nice guy. First one in, last one out. I've never got wrong with no one. And then at this point, my boy Dominic Polian, he was in and around the first team.
Yeah.
So, and this is how mad it goes. The game versus 16 versus 18s was there. The first team was training here, and we were training here with the little 5 of us. If it was the other way around, things would have been different.
Right.
So because we was in the middle, they was doing about 5, let's say, 4 first team players wanted to do a quick free aside.
Right.
They needed 2 players. So one of the coaches came over, and because we were like nearest, he just said, listen, we need 2 players. And I remember running, and my boy who was on trial, the Spanish guy called Juan, I grabbed him, I said, come, we're going.
Yeah.
And I remember looking back quickly and I'm seeing the pitch there. The coaches must have clocked it.
Right.
But by that point, we're gone. They might have said, no, stop. Sanchez, you come play with the 16s. We'll send someone over. And I remember just running, saying, come.
Yeah.
So as I'm running over, my boy Dom's seen it. So Dom's gone, Sandy, are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
So I've gone, all right, because they don't know, the first team don't know who we are. So it's like, okay, guys, just do, high intensity, give him it, whatever. And I remember, I swear down, I felt like I was in a movie. And I remember just going,
this is it.
I'm going to rip this up. I've got to. I'm going to channel all the energy of everyone that's been negative.
Yeah.
And I'm going to rip it up. And I remember so it's the one where the goals are quite close and the keeper's in each net and it's free aside.
Yeah.
And you just throw it out and you just play bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time the ball came to me, I just crifed it. I went, whap, 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 boom.
Let's go.
And then after that, and I remember the coaches and the gaffer on the side and a couple of players stayed out. And then Dom, my boy Dom, as I say, he was like my agent at that time. It's so funny. He was going crazy. Yes, Sonny. Yes, Sonny. Rag him. And when I say, even surprising myself.
Yeah.
Doing a move that I didn't even mean to do, but everything was coming off.
Yeah.
And I remember I must have scored like 6 goals in the first 4-minute thing. Boom, boom, boom. Twisting everyone up.
Yeah.
And then we went on a break. And then I seen the coach. It's Dom's going mad. The gaffer, they all walk around to Dom. And I seen him chatting. Then we went back again. Same again. So we did like 2 6 minutes. Rip it. And then stopped it. And they called me over. And the gaffer's like, where have you been? Said, I don't think I've come across you.
Yeah.
And I said to him in the politest way possible, again, not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but I was like, I've not really been given an opportunity. This is the most I've played in a long time, if I'm honest. And he was like, oh, come with us tomorrow. So this is a Thursday.
Wow.
So he was like, come train with us tomorrow. So then I've gone inside now, and then I've gone and trained with the first team on the Friday. So obviously they've done shape and stuff. So I'm training. I'm thinking, I've been going doing nothing, and now with the first team. Boom, boom, boom. Again, did really well. Gone inside now, and I've seen all because my boys we're still cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of run up to me like, yo, Sonny, what the hell? What's happening?
Well done,
I'm like, oh, I don't even know, bro. Like,
just
let me have this. I'll probably be with you lot next week. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like, nah. You traveling? I was like,
On the squad.
traveling where?
University.
Where we at? And I've gone inside and they used to put their name on the list on the board. So all the first team, Becchio, Alston, everyone, all the team.
Yeah.
And then I've gone down and it's seen Polian and then Payne.
Sick.
And I was like,
Unbelievable.
nah, this is mad.
Yeah.
At this point, was the guy that told you that you've got no future
Yeah, where was
still
he?
in the club?
So this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
These people who shunned me, the people who, tried to, whatever they did, got obviously, it's the gaffer. What they're going to say.
Yeah,
I mean, they might even have tried to say something, but he was like, nah, you traveling?
Yeah.
Bro, I didn't even have a number, bro. If there's pictures out there, I'm dressed in old kit and I'm with the youngers. I didn't have to get my number. Payne 27. Chris Bees, who's the kit man, who's always loved it. He was excited. I remember him printing the thing, and he was like, "Yo, Sadie, this is so good, man. You deserve it." People, secretaries and people around the place that I thought we were cool. They kind of went dismiss me. They had to come get my details. They had to come look at my contract because if I'm on the bench, my bonuses now are getting. So if I could make an appearance, so they have everyone's having to humble themselves and talk to me again. I swear down, and throughout it, the people that really kept me on board was my coaches that had me for time. So like Lucy Ward and Neil Redfern, then the kit people and the cooks and the cleaners.
Yeah.
I'm chatting. I chat to everyone.
Yeah.
Them people, the other people within the actual industry.
Yeah.
And they have to
just
humble
wanna see
themselves,
it,
man. And then, I made the bench against Nottingham Forest.
Love that.
My dad, my mum, everyone proud in front of 25,000 at Ellen Road.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. But that journey, honestly, you can't write it.
Yeah.
I was literally training with trialists and babies, 50-year-olds. And if that didn't happen, I don't even know where I would have been, man. I probably would have lost the love and I probably would have never kicked the ball again.
Sanchez, tell me about what was your mental health like in that period? You seem like a really positive person. You seem like the type of person that doesn't let anything come at you. But, what were you feeling during that process? And be absolutely honest, because sometimes you're forced to have that strength in front of you because of your upbringing and people you look up to, and you feel like people look up to you as well. But tell us really how you felt going through that.
So, very luckily, I have been raised to always speak on my emotions.
Yeah.
So between my mum and my dad, my dad's big, 6'3", but he's always been in tune with his emotions and allowed us to have a relationship where we could talk. Now, this was a very difficult point because just as this all was happening, my dad got locked up.
Right.
So I used to train at Wetherby, Thorpe Arch, and my dad was opposite, but yet we were so close yet so far. So throughout all this period of me being shunned and everything, one of my greatest assets and my
model, basically.
my rock and my wasn't there physically. but we used to always speak and stuff. But so that was tough. But then, so mentally, I already had to be strong to be the man of my family now.
Yeah.
So for my mum, for my brother, for my sister, I already had to be strong. And then to be dealing with this with football, and then everything else, I didn't even allow myself to consider my mental health.
Yeah.
Right.
It's only like later when I look back and thought, you had to be very strong there.
Yeah.
Because there's people that could have, I know people who were in the same England midfield
Right.
as John Joe Shelby and Jack Wilshere,
Yeah.
who then got similar treatment and then never kicked a ball again.
Yeah.
And I do owe it to my upbringing. I don't know what was in me, the positivity in me to allow me to keep going, but I did. But it was tough. And I know, and not even in any kind of cocky, kind of conceited way, that I'm one in a million who was able to do that.
Yeah.
That's not normal. And there's too many young players that are not getting the support they need.
Yeah.
As you guys know how academies work, you are mollycoddles, you are told you're the best, you are told you this, but that's not the real world.
Yeah, you sold a dream.
You sold a dream because that's the conveyor belt. That's when I learned the business element.
Right.
Whereas for me personally, I would love to implement something where they're told that logistically and statistically, it's not going to happen for everyone.
Right.
It's not a bad thing or saying that you're not a good player. It could be anything. It could be injury. It could be out of your hands. Have that plan B, C, and D.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't even have any plans, but
Yeah.
luckily, as you can tell, I can chat.
Yeah.
So I got into hosting, and now I'm a radio presenter,
Yeah.
and I made opportunities.
Yeah.
But again, that was very rare. So it was only later that I actually had a mental health breakdown when I tried to get back into football after all this, and then everything fell apart at the same time, and then those emotions from then came back.
Yeah.
Because then I felt like a 16-year-old, and I zoomed through life up to this point, and I felt everything. I felt being shunned, I felt being this, and I felt myself trying hard and still being denied, and I felt the lack of support. And then when I made the bench, you want to all be my friends again.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, when the manager left, it felt like the people in charge have got their hands on me again to say, right, no. And then it all came flooding back. And I don't know if you've seen the film Get Out.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya. I felt like I was in the sunken place.
Yeah.
My eyes were flashing, the lights were on, but no one was home.
Yeah.
And I had this bubbly, charismatic, love it. I just, for like 10 days straight, I remember, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I was just gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never felt this before. I've been down, I've had ups and downs, but because I didn't deal with that trauma of my career, it all hit me like a ton of bricks. And then that's when it was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
I feel that because would you agree and say that you buried that little bit of trauma and you put it somewhere deep, and then, you know, something is going back to playing what you love brings it all back up.
It's the thing that, unfortunately, you can get any different demographics, but as men, we bury a lot because we're told that, you know, stiff upper lip and lift your head up and get through it.
Yeah.
As a friend who's at Leeds United, you don't want to show your man that you're going through stuff because you want to uphold this image as, you know, you're a footballer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to even show that things are not going well. I remember the first initial time when things started to take a turn, I was like, I should just go. But then I was like, I actually didn't want to be known for not being at Leeds United.
Right.
And I was like, would people think I'm not good enough anymore if I leave? Even though I know I am, but it's logistics and it's politics. You know, if I'm not Sanchez Payne, Leeds United, who am I? And it's mad. It's like, you know what I mean? Now you're just like, come on. But at the time, it's rough. Yeah, so you bury so much. And then it all came back to me when I was like, so basically, long story short, I ruptured my Achilles on the day that I was signing for a team.
Right.
So I was at a job that I didn't really like, but I did really well.
Yeah.
But it was working weekends, so I couldn't play football anymore. So I took about a year off, and then I smashed this job because I'm going to save up and then go back to chasing the dream.
Yeah.
Because this is what so many of us do.
Yeah.
You try and chase that. You try and, you know,
Get
keep
back
the
to
dream
it.
alive.
Yeah.
And then I've worked at Debenhams, I've worked at car washing, I've worked at car sales. You know, I've done every job you can think of to maintain whatever income to support my career. And then at this one place, I then got a promotion. So I was working weekdays. I was on big money. I've got weekends back, but I was unfit. I gave myself 2 months of running the most horrible. I got my old under 18s Leeds United book where it's got the sessions in, and I smashed it.
Yeah.
And then I went on trial. On trial to this team, I was there for 2 weeks. It was like, Sanchez, we're going to sign you. It was,
Love that.
I think they were Conference North at the time, so
Yeah.
decent level, good springboard. And then, and even before that, I was at Bradford Park Avenue where I felt like I should have got more time. I was at these other places, but whatever. This was like the last time.
Yeah.
Give it a good go. We're going to sign you. Before training, they told me, buzzing, let's get it. Training, I'm playing with skipping my step, loving it. We had a little huddle, like, guys, look around you. This is the team. We're going to do big things.
Yeah.
Right, last 5 minutes, and then we'll call it a day, and we're going to build this team and whatever.
Yeah.
Last 5 minutes, playing. I've turned, passed the ball's gone over there. I've turned, and I've heard, bang!
Oh.
And I've turned around, and I've looked, and I was thinking, and I was looking at this guy, and I was like, how did you kick me from all the way over there? And I'm like, it was nowhere near me.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
No.
what is this fire in my leg? And I've just gone down. I was just screamed, and everyone's ran over. The goalkeeper on the opposite team was on the other side. Ran over. They heard it was like a gunshot.
Wow.
Then they pulled me off the pitch, and then the manager at the time held my legs like that, and he's like, Sanchez, I'm not feeling nothing on this side, like the whole back of the ligament, there's nothing there. And then he was like, you need to get it checked, but I think you've ruptured your Achilles. When literally, and I said, nah, it's not happening. After everything I've been through and I'm getting back in, it's not happening. And I got a sock, like some Bear Grylls, wrapped it around my leg, drove from Hull, because I was at North Ferriby at the time, drove from Hull all the way to Leeds, didn't even go to hospital. And this was the first place where my mental health, like, I felt, I went in my bed, my mum's screaming at me, Sanchez, you need to, I was just ignoring. I was just gone. My head was gone. And I was just like that. And I remember lit in bed. I didn't go to hospital like the next day.
What was the pain like? Like,
through the roof. But because my head was gone, I was like, yo, this is what I was laying in bed like, I'm a good guy. I work hard. I'm actually a good footballer. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not even like I'm begging it.
Why is this happening to me?
And I did not move.
Yeah.
Promise you. I did rice. That's the most I did. I'd lift it up. My mum said at least. I said I don't even want it, but then I was like, cool, I lift it up. And then the next day I went in because I was scared. I was scared of what they're gonna say. You know, this might be my football career literally over.
Yeah.
And then there was like, I can't remember what grade it was, but yeah, ruptured. 6 months. 6 months out.
Days.
And then, the journey to...
You just can't get a break. You can't catch a break.
So many opportunities at clubs. I was talking to my friend, actually. I was at Hyde one time, one of the best setups outside of professional football. And the team was just lit. Like, I'd come on and rip it up, but the start was just on fire. So that's the one where, as a man, you go, boy, I hear that. Like, everyone's on point. And then even the gaffer just said, like, Sanchez, I've never seen it where everyone's just been so on form. So it's just unfortunate there. I've been at other places where I've played well and then not got... And I was always the one that was... If there was a change to be made, I was the one that would get changed. But why? I've just got 2. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
The biggest one that probably hurt the most because of the confusion, as soon as I left Leeds United, I went to Doncaster Rovers. And I went and met with the manager at the time, Paul Dickoff, and he was like, mate, I've heard a lot about you. I know who you are.
Yeah.
If you do well, we'll sign you. I said, come in for a couple of weeks and we'll see how it goes. A week must have gone by and he's come over. He's like, listen, you've got nothing to worry about. And I was like, okay, cool. But that's nothing signed, still delivered. I was like, cool. Right. Another week's gone by. We must have played a training game. And I brought my boys down again. My dad came.
Yeah.
We had a couple of trialists. Danny Philliskirk was one. He went on to have a decent career. And a few other ballers as well. And I remember just ripping it up. And I remember seeing the gaffer walk around, similar to Leeds, to my dad, and they're just chatting. And then I just seen all my boys getting gassed. But I'm on the pitch, I'm doing my thing.
Right.
And then he went over and he said the same thing. He said, yeah. He said, don't worry, we got you. I ended up being there for 2 and a bit months. Coming up to like 3. It was all pre-season. So any other office where I was there, I was playing. And I can't even remember what happened. I feel like there was money issues or something, a deal fell through or something, and basically there was like 5 of us that was meant to be the new generation of Doncaster,
Players,
and none of us could get signed.
Flipping hell.
And I remember, and sometimes I think to myself, did this really happen? Was it real?
Yeah.
And then the odd time I'd speak to like Danny, so Dom Paulian went to Oldham with Danny Philliskirk.
Yeah.
Danny got in there because his dad was a coach there,
Right.
but his dad had to kind of force him back playing because he was similar. We was like, what's just happened?
Yeah.
We've come here, done so well, and then we've just gone kaput.
Yeah.
And he almost didn't play again, and luckily his dad got into play at Oldham. Then he played well, then he signed, and he had a good career. But yeah, that it felt like back to back. Like
I remember
from
that
Leeds United.
Doncaster one. 'Cause I remember the all your boys. I remember when they went down. I remember the videos from the games that you played. I remember you just rip it up. I think you scored. There's one game where you was running and you rolled the ball, and this guy went to slide tackle you and it slid off the pitch. And so I remember that the Doncaster time.
That was
as well.
against not Walsall. I can't remember.
That was a home game at the stadium, wasn't it?
It was at the stadium. I think like Oxford United or some team like that. And even that game, I was on the bench, but I was like, it's cool because I felt comfortable again.
Yeah, you felt like you was
I was
back.
like, yo, this is. And I remember, and I said to myself, when I come on here, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
And it was Alex Peterson, and he went on to actually have a good career as well. Yeah, and he ran down. So I won the header. He played it to him. He ran down, cut it back, give a little chops to it, and then bottom corner. And I remember, and then Kyle Bennett was there, and he was a baller. And he came over to me, and he's like, if you didn't score that, I'd have been cussing. I'm like, bruh, come on, bro. This is what I do. And you know what I mean? Like, so I was making friends, like the banter, everything was there. And then I really thought that was gonna be it. Like, as you say, there was footage of me doing my stuff. Like I'm telling people like, yo, I'm on fire, like I'm loving it. And then it just Reece Wabara was there. I mean, Reece got really close there. He was there on loan on Manchester City.
Yeah.
And then
So they couldn't offer up the money for the players to sign them, or were they trying to give other player contracts? Did you get any indication? Of what was going on?
The guy Archie, who was called, and he knew the owners as well, and even him was like, he's never seen this happen before in football. Like he said, he was like, I feel disgraced. Like the communication's been horrific, and you know, it was just so tough, man. Because I wanted to be there, but I'm now using my money from Leeds United that I've saved to commute. I'm going to Doncaster and back every day. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't have a job. I'm not working, and then one thing led to another, and it just deteriorated. And I was like, right, I need to go see what else is out there. But the season's more or less started. Like, I've gone to like Doncaster first team games. I've signed. I'm signing autographs. There's pictures of me with fans and stuff. Like I'm fully in there. And then it just deteriorated, man. And then from then it was tough, man. Really tough.
After that, like, because obviously we've both been through this where like you've left like a professional setup. Aside from football, what were like to you, and what were your other options? Like, because you're a man of many talents, but what were like realistically looking in front? What were like at that time? What were your options, or what did you want to do, or what path did you want to go down?
The funny thing is, how things have worked out were never in the plan.
Yeah.
I'm now, and I didn't know that I was then, but I always have been a person to kind of say yes to anything. I'll learn how to do it later.
Yeah.
Sanchez, do you want to, for example, in a few days, I'm climbing the 3 peaks. Yeah. Have you ever done it before? No, but I'll do it. well, do you know what I mean? I'm climbing 40,000 kilometers and 3 mountains on a Sunday, on the hottest day. But yeah, I'll do it. And then from that, while I was at Leeds United, because I had a name for myself, people offered me to hand out awards, or that offered me to come and be a presence at somewhere. Yeah. And that's not me. I'm like, what else can I do, man? Do you want me to say something? Do you want me to talk? And then they're like, well, yeah, we'd love you. That's even better. So then that was developing alongside the career that I didn't realize I was developing another career, which was hosting and presenting. Yeah. So when you say opportunities, there was none really that was like I was wanting to be a teacher or going to any form of university. My mum always said to do some studies alongside, but as you know, when you're in it, it's like
it's tunnel vision, isn't it?
Football, which now I would recommend for everyone to do something definitely, whether it's your coaching badges, whatever it was. But I was developing that, so I was developing my craft as a presenter and a host. I'm making a name in that industry to the point where word of mouth was like, oh, if you need someone, Sanchez. And before you know it, I'm doing little dibbles and dabbles with like 1 extra, and then dibble dabbles with this and that. And I was like, I actually enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
Never saw it as a career. Didn't know how to get into it, but I was in it by accident.
Yeah.
So as far as options, again, that was very rare. Now, I think kind of what you're touching on and what I would love to have seen is real tangible options for young footballers to say, right, if this doesn't work your way, these are the pathways. You can do A level, you can do this, you can do that, do that.
Yeah.
There was nothing like that. There was nothing that was like, the only thing, and you lot might have seen it, is when people saying you could go to America for a scholarship.
But it's harder when you're a pro already, though, isn't it?
I'm already a pro.
So
I missed that.
Yeah.
Exit games, exit trials, missed all of that.
They don't exist no more, really, do they?
Yeah.
Once you turn pro, they don't exist. It's only for...
It's for that age that I bypassed when I was 13.
You know, like that. Yeah.
So I missed out on a chunk of the potential, whatever limited options there were. I missed out on them.
Yeah, and then that's a good thing you said there. Do you think there were enough options? We had a conversation this week, and we were talking about what were the support networks for academy players or first year pros. You know, you talk about organizations like the PFA, FA, who are supposed to be right there with you, right there supporting you. Do you feel? I mean, when we spoke, I said at my darkest time playing football, and I was in my room really depressed. I never once thought, "Oh, I'll call the PFA because they'll help," because I just felt like there was nothing there, and I really tried to put my thumb on it. And you know, the best I got was a newsletter, like directed to me, but it was a magazine of a player that played 50 years ago. You know, talking about how he's going to be a coach. So for you, did you feel like they were organized? Did you feel like there was an ecosystem, a network of support in football that you could say, right, I can go to these guys or go to this?
So that was there, but was it really?
No.
This is my question. So for me, we had LFE education come in, yes. We had PFA. The biggest thing is when you get the PFA, £300 to spend on football boots. That's the biggest thing with the PFA.
That's all.
And this is nothing against them. So if you was to, I know people that have contacted the PFA and they've done great. As you'll correlate that with mental health, with abuse and everything, it's not enough for the organizations to be there.
Right.
It's just to be there. You need to be involved. What I would have loved to see, and even we might even have sprung something up now. I would love to have someone like me come in and proper talk.
We said the same thing.
We literally spoke about this 2 days ago, bro.
There you
we
go.
said the same thing.
What you just
I'm not even saying man them, just someone who's been through it and be like, yo, look in my eye. This is my. And we had a few people come in and talk about gambling. A few people talking about this, but it was like, you know, when you have someone who's not genuine, or you've seen someone you've not seen for a while, it's like, yo, give me a call, man. We should link up. Yeah, cool. You know, it's never.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not genuine. It's just a thing that you say.
Yeah.
Whereas, so that's what I felt with the PFA. And I'm not saying they wouldn't have answered the call, but it never felt accessible. I maybe accessible's not the word. Like, I never felt like I could actually call them, or they would actually do anything, or anyone would do anything,
or you didn't know what they could even do for you. Really,
what would you do if I'm feeling this and that?
Yeah, but on top of that, it's like when you're a youth team player, we're paying the PFA. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I said the other day, I'm like, all these youth team players that pay the PFA money, the PFA know who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the end of your youth team career, or even like as a first year pro, you still pay them. There should be a thing where maybe 3 months after you've been released, or 6 months, they get in contact. They get in contact with you, because they've got a list of all the players that get released each year. So they should get in contact and be like, okay, cool. What are you doing now? Is everything okay?
That's a great one. Because even the public get the release and retain list.
Yeah, exactly.
So they
definitely know.
I mean, whether it exists now, I don't know. In the capacity it should, no.
Yeah.
You know, anyone in football understands that once you've left a club, it's very tough, and not just because financially, because football mentally it is horrible. We're seeing now young boys taking their lives now. It's happened twice over the past few months, and it's disgusting. And why is that? Because it shouldn't be the end of the world. It should be, look, there's so much for you, and there might be, but. And this is nothing against the PFA. They could be doing it, but this is our experiences.
There
needed to be whether it's a middleman, whether it's more communication, whether it's more arm around the shoulder, whether it's more visits into the academies, then more. Whatever you're doing, more. More, because we are losing lives. We're losing young boys. Yeah. We're losing even potential footballers. Even if you do it as a business, I shouldn't have been falling out the net. We shouldn't have been falling through the gaps. Yeah. We should have been back in the system
somehow
to see if you can get back in. Yeah. Why are all these ballers now not getting a second chance? Like, I've gone from Leeds United, I went dunk, and then I've had to go to what? Like, why is there no system to go catchment, go to a League One, League Two, no conference
layers for you to drop and sort of have the opportunity
and stay in the game, get better, develop. As you know, people develop differently. You've got people that are 5 foot at 16 and 6'4" at 18. You've got the fact that these small players at one point were shunned because you're too small, but then the best player in the world is Messi. There's people develop at different times. Now, here's a big one throughout my Leeds United career. I was there through the infrastructure change of the 21s and 23s.
So that came in as soon as I left.
I left. I got told we were left for dead because I was too old. Under 21s.
Yeah.
The season that I left, it changed from under 21 to under 23s. Yeah. I'm still 20 years old. I've got another 3 years on it.
So imagine your development, imagine income, imagine your potential career if you had that. So I went from 16s to 18s. Then I remember when you get to so when you get to first year pro, you'll have 3 of them to play for the under 18s. Yeah. But even at the time, I was like, I'm doing what I shouldn't be doing that. I should be playing in reserves, which I kind of was. But then the reserves is used for the first team. Players in the first team, I'm not playing. You then playing. So then where's the development? Because I can't now play for 18s. I can't play for reserves. Yeah. So there's a chunk of players that are now in limbo. Yeah. Cool. Brought in 21s. So if you can't play 18s, you can't play reserves, you've got 21s. So 18s, 21s, reserves. Cool. Then they're bringing 23. And it's like, these players are now getting so much opportunity to develop and continue. Whereas, and I'm in the transition period of each time I'm moving up, they open another spot. And I moved, and it was unfortunate because it's just timing. But again, I'm looking at like, come on, man. Like, this is just crazy.
Madness.
But what's interesting, I think the way they treat the under 21s and 23s, it's still the same format as they would treat youth teams going up to first teams. They'd give you a contract at the end of your youth team, or they'd tell you you're getting a pro contract. But it's in disguise, it's still the same thing. If you're not fully recognized to go straight to the first team, you're almost put to under 23s, under 21s to sort of see and sort of say, can he, could he? Sort of thing. Develop? But there's nothing concrete to, protect these kids from getting a contract and going from youth team. So it's more or less the same thing we went through, just less difficult. At least they can carry on playing with the reserves and the 21s and 23s. But I beg the question of how much is that really doing for them? Is it just another layer of disappointment that they're adding? You brought it up at the start of this conversation. You said, as soon as they get a youth team scholarship, I think you should have a conversation with the kids right there and then to say, look, life's bigger than football. So can you give me, 3 things you'd love to do with your life outside of football? Could we give you the support network or give you like, I don't want to go too much into it, but we were talking about it and we wanted to present it for the documentary. We were talking about there should be, as you sign as a youth team player, there should be a year within your contract where it's a transition year. If the club hasn't made its decision or coaches hasn't made a decision by the end of your 2 years youth team to sign you or not, they should dedicate that year to still pay you a youth team wage, but they should sit down with the player and the parents and tell them that this is a transition year contract. This is you transitioning into something else other than football. Now you can take it. Some players would be like, no, I think I can make it, so I'll go off, which is absolutely fine. But if some players are still unsure if they could or can't, if they could or if they go somewhere else, they can take that year. 80% of their time can be spent transitioning, whether if they want it to be a sparky, do an apprenticeship, and 20% of the time, they can still train. So if I was to paint a picture, they'd come in and train in the morning as normal with the lads. It takes the stress off the coach because the player understands, he knows he's transitioning. So coach doesn't really have to include him on Saturday. But if the coach wants him as an extra body, he can play on Saturday. But 80% of the time there, he's transitioning.
Yeah.
And then, it works positively from both sides. Player might get a rejuvenated chance and feel like,
yeah, because you'll get extra drive for thinking, right, like, I
Yeah.
really want this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it makes what we spoke about, innit? Like adding like, it's almost like restructuring the youth team setup
contract
and adding an extra year onto
To help, what is restructuring the setup to benefit the player.
The player.
Because right now,
It's
the
just
structure benefits
the
the
club.
team
The
and
club,
the club.
yeah.
And I feel like in anything, I had this discussion the other day about paternity and maternity leave. There's one company that's now allowed it for both parents for X amount of time. And I was like, that's because finally industries are putting humans first and people first.
Yeah.
If you was to put money in first, then none of this. They've been coming in and you should be thankful that you played for this club. Bye. But no, we should be doing it for the people, especially because we're seeing how much it's affecting them.
Yeah.
Now, there's pros and cons to situations like that, but I feel like the cons are just more, that's what they need to take. Yeah. You'd rather, the coach might say, but we'd rather focus on the players that we really see a future with. I hear that, but at one point you saw a future with him. So treat him accordingly. They might say, I don't know, there's other things that they might say, but come on, man, this is a young child who needs the support. And I feel like, again, this thinking outside the box needs to happen sooner rather than later because there's too many young kids, man. I played a game literally yesterday against some young academy guys and they were brilliant. We beat them. We beat them because the oldest, you know what I mean? We did our thing. But I'm looking at them and I feel like I would love to start some sort of mentoring because I'd talked to, there was 7 aside and most likely, 5 of you not going to make it. Is there support out there for them?
Yeah. Is it highlighted at the start? Is it, I would have loved to have 6 months into my first youth team, first year in youth team. I would have loved for someone to have sat down and had a serious chat with me. And said, look, in 18 months' time, you could not be here and you could be stuck in a really hard place. Tell me now, what are your thoughts? What are your other passions? So we can tailor it and hopefully give you something.
That's crazy.
At the end of
There was never, I can't even imagine that.
Could you imagine that when we were playing the youth team?
Yeah.
If someone actually sat down with us.
And what? We're not talking about football.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's a serious chat. And like you said, if you don't have that chat, you're ruining lives. There's a percentage, statistics, 0.03% of kids make it in the UK.
From youth team
playing
to
football.
to first team. That's a mad stat.
And if that's the case, which is so staggering, it should seem obvious that other things are in
Should
place.
be common sense.
Like if you asked me what my options were and I got into this, if you asked me at the time, I probably wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
But it would have got me thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like a proper... And so here's the thing what I do remember. We had these kind of conversations in passing in a group. Most of you guys won't make it. But you look around and like, well, I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You hit the nail on the head.
And I was like, you know what I mean? You lot might be doing your thing, but I'm
But it's
you
also
never
like,
think it's going to be you. That should be that tagline.
Oh, you
you never
killed me
think it's
with
going to
that.
be you. You know what I mean?
it's also like how it's delivered as well. I feel like they're just very relaxed about it. Like, somebody might make it. Imagine if someone like us came in here.
Oh,
I'd send that. I said, listen to me.
Thank
You
you.
have got
Thank
step
you.
overs and hella moves, but there's so many things that can come to the point where you might not make it.
Yeah.
So let's think. Let's say football was out of the question. What would you love to do?
Yeah.
Oh, now I've got my mind off. Forget that. I know you have, because after here, I know you're gonna go run rings and do cones and do them things.
Yeah.
What would you
Love to
do? I'd get through because I'm saying I've lived it. I'd get a
Literally.
video of my life. Well,
Yeah.
I'm on 7 Up, so my film gets my life
Yeah,
gets
we're
filmed,
gonna
documented every
touch that
7
in a
years. I don't know
minute,
if you did.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
mentioned
told me
it
about
before.
it, yeah.
We're going to talk about it in a minute, yeah.
Okay, so even then, I could show these kids, been there.
This is what happened,
Google,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I was up and coming, whatever, and it didn't happen. What? So I'd be that guy that they need to bring in because I'm getting. I'm not. It's not going to be no. Listen, mate, I wish you all the best. It might not happen, but keep your head up. No, let's talk the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I would have loved for someone like Sanchez to come in when I was a youth team player? Yeah, like moving away from Manchester, moving to Norwich, not knowing whatever, but someone real, like you said, like who looks at me directly in the eye, and I can almost feel the pain. I can almost relate to him
'cause it's real,
immediately
the realness.
because he's real. Because I know he's been through it. He told me a story. It's like, it's almost like, wow, there's someone there that understands me. And through my first year, I felt like no one understood me. And like you said, you killed me with this one, but you know, you get the PFA guys who played in 1955 and stuff, you know, old in suits, and they come in and they're like, well, lads, not all of you gonna make it. And you immediately look at your body like, I'm sick.
When this guy retired, I wouldn't have been born. Like, you know, them ones
I'm
there.
thinking I'm good.
And then the tagline that they say.
This doesn't relate to me.
If you lot don't make it, you know I got you in it.
Yeah.
But literally, and especially, like we said, we know how the academy works, and it's clever. It's like a work environment. You tell everyone that they're great, but only a few of you's getting a promotion.
Yeah. It's not at the forefront. You know, you get one or two conversations,
Literally.
but they'll treat you as an asset of you'll sort of make it up.
Everyone's
keep working
great,
hard
and then everyone's great, and then all of a sudden you sit down and have a conversation. That just reminded me of another one. I've had so many, I forget them. I thought my comeback was going to be again my final one. Accrington Stanley. This was before my Achilles, actually, I think. And I got a chance to go there, and I went there I had 2 weeks, and I went there on trial, and we were running up these mountains and everything. I got the fittest I ever got. I remember driving back with my boy Benny. My back was finished, but I was playing out my skin, and I was ripping it up, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And even my boy Simon Lenigan, he was at Bury on trial, I think, and they must have come and trained where we trained, and they came and watched, and they messaged me like, Sally's back. And no one's there, like when your boy's saying it. And then, this is the madness of football. I genuinely thought from Leeds United, Doncaster, to all these things, it was going to be, Sanchez Payne is back playing football. I'm thinking, what's it going to like to have to post on Insta, me holding it? I swear down. I remember walking in, and it was John Coleman and I can't remember who his assistant. And I remember thinking to myself, and there was about 15, they had loads of trials, like 15 trialists. And then like 10 went in and out, didn't get a contract. And there's one guy got a contract, and he used to play for Burnley Academy, and he went in, he was like a midfielder like me, he got a contract. But I know I did way better than him. So I'm like, okay, but everyone's walking out like Sanchez, well, congrats. But I'm like, shh. It's not happening. Don't say nothing. But when I say it, everyone's like, yo, come on, man. I'm not offended, if he got one. I remember going and sitting down, and I was literally thinking to myself, these are the words that I've been waiting to hear. And then literally there was like, looked at each other, and there was like, right, so you've done really well. I'm like, yeah. I was like, so what we're going to do, we're going to monitor you.
Right.
And I went, what?
Monitor me where?
I said, we're going to monitor you. We're going to put you forward for a few teams. So I had Bradford Park Avenue. This is where I went to Bradford Park Avenue that season. So they knew I had that kind of weight, and said, we want you to go. They want to look. And I said, and I just said to him, it got to the point where and this is my other fault back in the day of not being too, I said to him, but I've been one of the best players here for the past 2 weeks. Like, what's happening? They was like, well, I can't, in my head, if I remember correctly, I remember saying, but you might have been doing too much. But I was like, on purpose, like I was showing how much better than I am than these players, and then I was keeping it simple, and then I was scoring, and then I still wasn't losing the ball, but I was showing that I'm fit and I can run rings and I can do long range. I was showing every asset, and I've ticked every box. Like, what's going on? And then it got to the point where there was talking, and then it started to go more, more. Like in my head, it just drowned out. Whatever you were saying now, I was like, no problem, I'm out. And then obviously they went on to have a really good season. It's not whatever, each to their own. But that time I was like, what more can I do?
One thing I like to say, there's no common sense in football. Like things that happen in football would never happen in any other industry. It would never happen in any other industry. Like, it's just crazy.
But then even then, and then the same season, they went and signed like 2 people that I know who play more or less similar to me. So I'm like, this is really mad. And I remember asking, I got through someone local, Chapel Town, got me the link to get feedback back, and there was like none. But they just had I don't know what it was. Why are you bringing so many trialists in and you weren't going to sign? And I remember, who else was, I can't remember his name, but there was a few other big players that they didn't sign, but they let them go beforehand. But I know even then I was doing better than them, and then this, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is lit. This is easy. Like and I think that's the season. Josh Windass just finished. So Josh Windass and Matt Crooks.
Crooks, I was wonderful. I'm trying to get Crooksy on this as well.
They just left. So
Just
I'm thinking,
Rangers.
they just left. perfect. You've seen midfielders win that scoring goal. You need that now. I'm here. And then I'm like, yo, these are trying to. I said, this is mad. I remember driving home thinking, this is just nuts. The amount of, I swear, if I went to places and didn't do well, and then I was like, there's a few I've gone, oh, I've not been my best. Cool.
And you know yourself.
But there's been many that I've gone and ripped it up.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what's going on?
What? I don't get it.
Yeah.
And it was just nuts, man.
For a lot of kids that will, and I know there's lots of kids at the moment who will resonate with you and who understand exactly what you went through because they would have their own journey and similar. For them, a positive, like, you're doing loads of things now. Your life's taking a positive turn. You know, you've got loads of talents. You know, what sort of things can you tell them now or give advice to them listening in? You know, how could you summarize all the pain you've been through from playing football and to a position that you are now? Because they'll resonate with you. What sort of things would you be telling them right now?
So, for example, right now, so I'm a BBC Radio Leeds presenter. I was on BBC Radio Bradford, which was a pop-up station in the whole years of the BBC for a pop-up station. Got the most views and listeners ever. So I was daytime, full day. I'm full-time on Radio Leeds now. Amazing. I own my own fitness brand. I do my own networking events. I've traveled the world. I'm part of Leeds City Council in Leeds 2023. We're going to spend a lot of money changing the whole landscape of Leeds through creativity, and I'm on the board of that. Like, amazing. I've touched so many different things, and I'd like to say that I'm an example that things can happen.
Yeah.
My advice to these young people would be that it's not going to be all and end all. You are the person that has the ability to write your story. And here's how I've got through life. And anyone can adapt this. It's just another chapter to the story.
Yeah.
There's actually a saying, so it's kind of what I developed from. It was saying, every story has an happy ending. And if it's not happy, then it's not the end yet.
Right.
So for me, all these things that happened to me is just another chapter of my triumphant story. And when I'm back, I'm better and, you know, successful. I'm going to be able to look back at this and go, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, this is just another thing that we assess, we look at, we recalibrate, we think, we adapt, and you see what you can do. I'd say to young people to find what you love. Luckily, I've had the ability and the bravery, because it is quite brave, to find things that I love and pursue it. So I love speaking, radio. I love hosting, so I host events. I love partying, having a good time. So I do my own nightclub and networking events. I love food. I started my own food vlog, which is now taking off. And all these, and then football, if that comes back around, and I'm now getting paid to be doing 4 of those, and then if football kicks off, I'll be paid and making a living doing things that I love. And at first, people used to say, you know, Sanchez, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you know, jack of all trades, master of none, whatever. I said, you look cool. Because you're doing a 9 to 5 now that you hate. And I'm loving life. So I tell people to, it sounds cliche, but pursue those dreams, pursue those passions properly, like you mean it. Because the other side of it is not just manifesting and thinking it. You got to put in work. The amount of YouTube videos I've watched, the amount of things that I've studied, the amount of, you know, podcasts I've listened to. That's why something like this is great. This is gold. This is literally like being at university, but you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. It's like studying William Shakespeare, but getting to hear him speak. Do you know what I mean? Like it was a young footballer who's not done anything that we've done yet. Your career's not even started yet. You should be listening to all of these and taking gems with a notebook. I watched one with Reese Fabara the other day, and I'm there like, yo, big man, I had to pull over my car and watch it on one phone. I had my notes on the other. So I'd say do your diligence, man. Pay respect to education. You know, really put in hard work, and that doesn't even just come with outside of it. Even with football, don't come off that pitch. I remember. And I learned this quite early on. You should train and be more tired training than playing. You should be knackered. You should be running. You should be sweating. You should be bursting the gut. You should be jumping higher, lifting more, sprinting more, swimming, recovery, from foam rolling to stretching to yoga, Pilates. You should be doing everything in your power to make it happen. Because then if it doesn't happen, at least you can go,
Did everything.
And that's the one thing that I'm cool with. It's frustrating because you're like, you've done everything. But I can actually say like, yo.
Did everything.
Worked hard on the pitch, off the pitch, recovered, wasn't out partying, wasn't a bad egg, good player, did this. And then that's allowed. I remember hearing a Ryan Giggs did Pilates. Started doing Pilates, felt supple, felt stronger,
Yoga
whatever.
And stuff,
Tried different things. Swimming, used to go swimming every Sunday. So all these things implemented, and I feel like if you're young and you've got the future ahead of you, it would be a criminal for you to not do that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, people will hear this, and only a few will actually do it.
Yeah, actually do.
So if you do it, over the camera, if you do it, you're already ahead of the game because if it was easy, everyone would do it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But that's the way. That hard work, the real belief, and then application. And then there's so many options. And then that is transferable to, like you say, if you want to be a sparky, you want to be a carpenter, you want to go in this new age of social media, if you want to be a presenter, you've got an iPhone that's got so much technology. Use it. Video yourself and learn to edit or do this or pay someone or collaborate. And, if you want to be a model, get some nice pictures on portrait. Bro, the world is endless, man. And I say, but the only thing that drives it all is the hard work, the real belief and the application. And I feel like if you've got them three at least, then you won't go too far wrong.
What an amazing way to segue in. For kids listening in and parents, just take it from Sanchez himself and just understand that there's so much things bigger than maybe your son going through an academy system. And as he's just explained there, it's brighter. And if you are in a depressing position, or especially with the pandemic and what's going on at the moment, for kids who don't know what they're going to do in terms of getting a scholarship or pro contracts, Sanchez is being right here to say that there is something you can do. There is an attitude, there is a mindset you can keep. And there is someone who absolutely understands what you're going through and who's come out.
I never thought I'd love something as much as football.
Yeah.
And I cannot stress it enough. I love my life.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid that I would never get that buzz back that I did with football.
Yeah.
And you do. You won't see it. You won't feel it. You'll be like, what? There's things out there. If you make it as professional football, brilliant.
Yeah.
If not, your journey doesn't end there.
Yeah.
In fact, your journey opens up because you've gone from tunnel vision to the world being your oyster, man.
Yeah.
It's there for you.
Amazing.
And Sanchez, so we can keep, track of your journey and everything, please, for everyone that's listening and hopefully for people our age or younger who are watching this, where can they find you? So give them a little list of where to find you and where to keep up with you. Socials,
nice and easy. At Sanchez Payne on Instagram and Twitter. Sanchez Mr Leeds Payne on Facebook. I feel like I have to change. I'm going to change that, but I thought no,
because
it's not in a cocky way. It's I want everyone to know where I'm from.
I always say, if anyone ever said to me in the funny reason, I'm like, do you know Sanchez Payne?
But the problem was
literally 99% of the time, so I was like,
Mr Leeds Payne on Facebook. But then you can, so all my details on there. I put all my links in my bio. So for my vlogs, for my food vlog, I'm doing some big collaborations recently. BBC Radio Leeds, you can always tune in on BBC Sounds and listen. I'm an evening show presenter from 7 till 10, Monday to Friday. And I'm just here, man. And I'm only a message away. A lot of people as well. It's so weird because I'm doing a lot. People feel like I'm distant. But I love people. Yeah, I love people. If someone drops me a message, might take me 3 hours to get back.
Yeah.
But I'll send you a very heartfelt voice note with any advice or help I can give. And at some point, I'm going to be setting up something where I can really do that, whether it's in schools, academies, whatever. There's a lot to give back, so just watch this space.
Definitely.
Yeah. What a session. Wow.
Sanchez.
Yeah, no,
thank you for coming in, bro.
Really domed it there. Awesome, bro. You domed it.